The Christmas season was a festive time for John and wife Laura. With the help of a rare mid-December snow in Knoxville, they were in the Christmas spirit early. Laura used her artistic gifts to decorate the mailbox and the front of our West Hills home with natural greenery. John, meanwhile, pulled out his old Bright School Santa and Coca-Cola Santa Claus to make sure they were ready to greet Christmas visitors. John also took some time before Christmas to go down to visit his parents, Velma and Wayne Shearer, in Chattanooga, and go downtown to see the decorations at the Electric Power Board building. And at the old Miller Brothers department store building. And what is a visit to downtown Chattanooga for John without a visit to the unique Rembrandt's Coffee House for some pastries and desserts to go? Hey, it was the holidays. John also took some time the weekend before Christmas to visit the popular Walk Through Bethlehem exhibit at his church, Church Street United Methodist in downtown Knoxville. It featured several animals of old. It also had church members dressed and working as citizens would have been at the time Jesus was born in Bethlehem. A few days before Christmas, John and Laura partook in their annual Christmas tradition of visiting downtown Knoxville to eat at the Tomato Head, which, like Rembrandt's in Chattanooga, is a special place. Time was also taken to visit the popular Mass General Store in downtown Knoxville, which has a lot of old-fashioned items. John and Laura also enjoyed other sights in downtown Knoxville. We also attended a wonderful rendition of A Christmas Carol at UT's Clarence Brown Theater. As Christmas Eve neared, Laura began keeping busy making food, such as this Japanese fruitcake, and wrapping presents in her skillful way to put under the tree. As Christmas Eve arrived, John and Laura went to Church Street United Methodist Church for the Christmas Eve communion service. Hundreds attended, including UT football coach Derek Dooley and his family, and Laura helped serve communion. The next day, Christmas Day, John and Laura loaded up the car with gifts and, like Santa Claus on his sleigh, headed down to Chattanooga to visit John's family. A rare white Christmas occurred, so we had a beautiful scene to greet us when we arrived at my parents' house. Inside could be found plenty of white as well. John's father, Wayne, was ready to serve the Christmas ham. John's mother, Velma, enjoyed a delicious Christmas meal, as did nephew Logan, home from Utah. With my sister Kathy and with the help of Yorkshire Terriers Zoe and Daisy, we enjoyed exchanging gifts. It was then time for the family pictures. We then dashed through the snow, enjoying the scenery once more, to the Anniston, Oxford, Alabama area to visit Laura's family, including her son Robert, his wife Michelle, and their 3 children. Santa Claus was again good to everyone, including Laura. And Bo, as well as Maggie and Peyton. By the time we were finished, Bob, Ben, and everyone were dog-tired. Everyone except the dogs, of course. Little Bo, however, was ready to continue celebrating Christmas and Halloween. After 2 nights, the time came to say goodbye and head back to Knoxville. Not before some parting hugs. 3 days later, while Laura went to Georgia to visit her mother and brothers and their families, John headed to Memphis to watch his alma mater, Georgia, play in the Liberty Bowl on December 31st. John had not been to Memphis in more than 10 years. It was neat to revisit some of the East Memphis places where his family used to live, including Aunt Thelma's old house shown here, where she lived for 40 years. John also drove by this home on Oak Ridge Drive, where his parents lived approximately 55 to 60 years ago. They lived here as a young couple while Wayne prepared to open an optometric office and Velma was a nurse. At the same time, a budding Memphis musician lived at this home on Audubon Drive, just a few hundred yards from John's parents' home. His name was Elvis Presley. While in Memphis, John was graciously hosted by old college friend George Wesky, his wife Jennifer, and their 4 children, including son George, at their Cordova home. Soon it was football time in West Tennessee. On New Year's Eve afternoon, despite the threat of possible heavy rain, John and George headed to the Liberty Bowl for Georgia's game against Central Florida. Georgia had a good crowd of supporters in the 65% full stadium, but it was not to be as Central Florida won 10-6. Laura, meanwhile, spent New Year's Eve with her 94-year-old mother, Elizabeth Anderson, in Augusta, Georgia, as well as her brother John, shown here, her other brother Alan, and their families. The new year brought plenty of wintry weather, as this scene of John and Laura's backyard on January 10th showed. Despite the cold and football disappointments, 2011 was still anticipated with much hope by John and Laura.